Hello and welcome to the most important video you will ever watch in learning Godot game development. I've spent hours putting this series together to make it easy to understand. Throughout this series, which is only going to be like 5 or 6 videos, I will be teaching you step by step how to create the farming game that you see on screen. Basically, what does this farming game that we're going to be creating have? Well, it has coins, it has different crops, it has these seed packets that we can actually plant here. We're also going to be adding chickens down here, but I haven't done it yet. But later in this series, we're going to have some chickens that lay eggs, which is going to be pretty cool. And you can also sell the eggs. But let's say we want to plant, we'll plant these carrots and we'll plant the rest of these onions, right? And then obviously I have it on like a 5-second wait time, so it only takes like 5 seconds to grow or something. That's just so I can show you guys how everything works. But all of the crops are done. We click them to harvest them. And you can kind of see down here, oh, we have 8 onions, 4 carrots. Let's say we want to plant all onions now, right? It works. And it will plant all onions, and then if we walk over here, it will sell. But let's click some more fruits. And then if we walk on this gold plate here, now you see we have 116 coins. And if we go to the shop, you can kind of see everything pops up. Let's move these out of the way just so it's not crowded. But if we walk in, it says, okay, so a strawberry pack is worth 100 gold. What does the shop sell? Is that it? No, it's not. We got a random seed packet. It's 500 gold. Oh, we can't buy it. It's in the red. Can't get it. But if we go to the strawberry, okay, yeah, we can buy it. It's 100 gold. Boom. Minuses the gold. And we get another seed pack, right? I'm super excited to get started with this series, but before we do, I just want to ask if you can go down there and hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video, as it helps YouTube push the series to more inspiring game developers so they can learn to make their own Godot games as well. But without further ado, let's get started on this video. So boom, brand new blank slate, and let's get started with just creating the player first. So to create the player, we're just going to go other node. We need a kinematic body because that's what all players are made with. I'm going to rename this to player. And then under our player, we need a animated sprite and kind of all the basic stuff like the collision shape 2D. And that's what we're going to leave it at for now. So just animated sprite, collision shape 2D. And for our animated sprite, we're going to need some art. And for this art, I linked all the art in the description below to an itch.io page. It's not my art, so that's why I linked it to their page. So you can go check out the itch.io page, download the art. It's completely free, so don't worry about having to pay any money or anything because it's 100% free. Just download the art, and then you should get a file that looks like this. And with this, we have our entire farming game right here. So just go download this. It's on the itch.io, link in the description to go to that page. Download this art, import it into your game, just drag it into the file system down here. And we also need to click it, import preset 2D pixel, re-import so it's more clear. But yeah, just go import this real fast and we are able to get started. So animated sprite, let's create our player's animations to start. Before we do any code, let's start out simple and our animations. So we need an upwalk animation. This is going to be the animation that our player uses to go upwards. So horizontal, we have a 16 by 16 art, so it's like 16 pixels by 16 pixels of art. So if we do 13 squares vertical, 13 squares vertical, then you can see it kind of like it perfectly cuts everything out, right? So these 3 animations here are going to be walking upwards because as you can see, the character's back is facing towards the camera. So if we click these 3, you can kind of see this is the animation. We zoom in, and then we can put it on playing. You'll kind of see like it looks like it's walking upwards. I'm gonna move it to like 6 frames a second just because it looks better a little faster. Now a new animation, we got our down walk. So our down walk frames are gonna be these frames right here where the character is facing towards the camera. And you can kind of see it's walking towards the camera now. I'm gonna go with 6 frames a second. And then we have another animation, which is going to be our sidewalk. And we're only going to need one sidewalk because we can use a function that's just flip H, which is flip horizontally. And we can just flip the animated sprite horizontally when we go right, if that makes sense. So We only need one of these. Sidewalk. And I'm going to make this 6 frames a second. And that's almost, honestly, that's almost our player done. Oh, actually, we need one more. We need an idle animation. So when we're not moving at all, we have something that our player's doing, and it's not just like stuck in a active walk animation. So it's just going to be still, which is probably not the best. You should probably have something about idle animation, but you know, it's fine. So now that we have this, let's create our script. So we're going to go up to our player, new script, player.gd, create. We can completely remove all this, and we're going to need some basic variables like the speed of our player, which is going to be equal to like 50 is fine. And then we also need a vector2. So variable motion is going to be equal to a vector2 dot 0. So this is basically going to be how our character moves, right? It's X and Y. This is basically its position, where it is, and how much it's moving to the left, how much it's moving to the right at a certain time. So with that being said, if we create a functions, a physics process function, then we do if input. Let me kind of explain. So if input dot is action pressed. So if we're holding down this button, which we can do UI right, which is going to be our right arrow key. So if we're holding this button down, then we want our motion dot x to equal our speed, right? Which means we're going to be going towards the right. And then we can do else if, basically the exact same. Input dot is action. Okay. I didn't spell input right. Make sure you spell input right. I still didn't spell it right. Input that is action pressed. And then we want to go left. So we'll do UI left. And then for left, motion.x equals, if we equals to speed, it's going to go right. So we want to minus speed, because if we go negative speed, then we're basically going to be going the opposite of going right. So negative speed, just like that. And then we can just kind of copy this here. Boom. And then we can go with down. And it's a little weird, but going down is going to be positive speed. But we also want motion.y, because now we're on the y-axis, right? If we go down or up, we want to change the y-axis. So we can copy this one more time. And then we can do UI up. So save the player scene, Control S. But UI up, motion.y is equal to negative speed. So now that we have this, technically our player would work. Yeah, let's just show it real fast. Technically our player does work. So move and slide is going to be equal to motion. This just so our player is like being shown. Okay, it's super small. But you can kind of see everything works. It's also like, okay, so there's a lot of bugs, obviously. Basic code. But first of all, I just want to, project settings, I just want to zoom in so we're not like all the way out like we are now. Window, and then we want to, down here in our test window, we want it to be, our test window to still be big, right? But then up here we can change this to like 320, and then I don't remember exactly. I think it's 180 for the height. Well, yeah, we're gonna stay at 180. Now we got to go all the way down here to the bottom. We need 2D, and we need to keep the aspect so it stretches it to our test width. So when we play it, everything appears bigger. So that's our player now. You can kind of see everything's super messed up. So first of all, I'm clicking no keys right now when we're still moving. So to fix that, we can go here, we can do else, and then on else, we can do motion.x equals 0, motion.y equals 0. Now if we play, we only move when we're holding the button down. But if I click the right button and the down button at the same time, we get like that super diagonal, and we basically go twice the speed, which is obviously not good. So to fix that, when we are going, let's say we're going up, we want to make sure motion.x is equal to 0, right? Or if we're going down, we want to make sure motion.x is equal to 0. And then same thing, whoops. Same thing if we're going left or right. If we're going left or right, we want to make sure motion.y is equal to 0. So now if we play this, it's gonna like, you'll be able to see more. It looks like we're moving on more of a grid. So if we go this way, I'm clicking the down button, we can't go down. Now we can go down. But you see how it like kind of directly just completely stops us, so we can only move like in a grid kind of pattern, just so we can't get any of those laggy ways, which is good. So that's better. But we also want to play our animation. So on else, this means we're going to be clicking nothing. Like, we're just going to be stopped. We're not going to be moving. So we want to get our animated sprite dot play. This is where we want to play our idle animation. Was that a capital I? I think it was. Okay, yeah, we got no air, so that works. Obviously, we couldn't really see anything because we're always playing an idle animation. But if we can just copy all this, right here we can do down walk. And then right here we can do our up walk animation. And then up here, we can do our side walk animation. Copy this, put it on the UI left. Now if we play, you can kind of see we have all our animations. Obviously here is backwards, but up, down, we don't stop for some reason, which means this has to not be the right name. So maybe it's a lowercase I. Yeah, that was the complete fix. But now you can kind of see we have a working player. It's backwards here. So to fix that, we go to our UI right, and then we got to get animated sprite dot flip h, which is flip horizontal. So when we're going right, we want to flip it horizontal, so we'll equal it to true. And then when we're going left, we don't want to flip it horizontal because that's the way the art is already created. So now if we play, everything looks good. We can move around like a good character, and that's a basic character. So that actually looks pretty good. So I like that. Character is looking good. Now we need some type of world, right? So how are we gonna make a world? Well, we're gonna use tile sets. We're gonna use this art sheet that we have here. I'm also going to do that in this episode. So this is not just the player in this episode. It was mainly the player, but I want to also add in kind of making our map, the basis of our map. So let's set that up. So let's make the map so in next episode we can create plants that grow. So to do this, we're going to go and we're going to create a brand new scene. It's going to be a 2D node, and we can name this our world. Let's save the scene. So world.tscn, that is cool. And in our world, we were going to want some tile maps. So for our tile map, first tile map, I'm just going to name this tile map background. And then we can have another tile map, which can be named, we'll just name this like foreground. So for our foreground, we're going to have like the paths, the fences, the farming land. Maybe not the farming land. Actually, no. The farming land's gonna be on the background. We're gonna have just stuff. So I'm gonna kind of do a time lapse on this, but I'm gonna show you how to get everything set up. So first of all, we're gonna click on our background tile map. Our cells are 64 by 64, but the art is only 16 by 16. So if we do this 16 by 16, you'll see like now we have like this like tinier grid, right? So if we click up here on tile set, empty new tile set, we click this little tile set here, and then it's going to open up this page here. So if we get our art page from our file system, we drag it in here, everything's going to show up. We can click this to make it bigger. But what we want to do is we want to go up here, new single tile, and then this button here is going to let us have a snap grid. But you can see these grids are way too big. So we can go over here to the snap option. You can go to 16 by 16. And then now you see everything fits in perfect. So to do this, I'm going to get our basics, right? So these go in a 9 pattern. But I don't think it really... I mean, I guess it does matter. But Yeah, yeah, it does matter. So I'm just gonna get like, so you click on one, right? Just one square, new single tile. Click here, new single tile. Boom, new single tile. Now we're creating tiles that we are able to like paint with, I guess you could say. So boom, 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 and then these boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna go with this dirt because I don't really like this piece. So hit that dirt, and then we'll get this one, this one, this one, this one. The paths I'm gonna save for the foreground tile set. Same with the fences and everything like that. But you know, this one we need. Let's see. I don't really know what else we need, but obviously we're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to get these here in a minute, and yeah. But for now, this will do. So now we can go click on our background. Let's expand this a little bit like this. So now you can kind of see these are all the tiles we made. So for example, let's say we want, you know, just plain grass. I'm just gonna make everything plain grass for now, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna like texture it here in a minute. But you can kind of see, like, just draw, and you can draw anything you want, obviously. But I'm just gonna make it a plain and simple green background, and then I'm gonna paint it in with like the fields and everything like that here in a minute. But boom, 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 boom. Just draw it all in. Like this, like this, like this, all the way over here. Let's make a perfect square. Boom, boom, boom. Looks good. So let me show you how the farmland kind of works. So if we get this is a corner. So let's say we place our corner. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but let's say we place our corner like right here, right? So now we click these and we can drag them like as far this way as we want. This would be a corner that goes down right here, right? Then we can drag these all the way here, a corner here, across, corner there, and then go all the way up, and then we can fill this in. And you can kind of see how that looks, right? So that looks pretty cool. I mean, it's like a field in the middle of green, if that makes sense. But it looks good, right? So I'm just gonna go into a time lapse real fast. I'll be back in like 5 seconds your time, probably 10 minutes my time, or maybe 5 minutes my time. But just time lapse. If you want to copy it exactly as I do it, you can do that. I'm all for that. So if you want to copy it just like this, or just like I'm gonna do, you can do that. But time lapse, boom. So now this is our background. This is all we're gonna have on the background, right? So this is all we're gonna have on the background. Now if we go to the foreground, we're gonna do the exact same thing, right? We gotta set up the cell to 16 by 16 by 16. And again, if you want to copy this exactly how I did it, go for it. I'm cool with that. Now we can bring this over here, basically do the exact same thing. And we're gonna make some new tiles, right? So first of all, we got to make all these path tiles, right? Because that's kind of what we're gonna have on this layer. There's gonna be these paths. So boom, 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 boom. Just all the paths that we can get like this. And then we have, I'm gonna add in a placeholder shop. Obviously this is not gonna be the working shop. I'm just gonna add in a placeholder. But then we can go for all these fences here. We're not gonna need that. We're not gonna need that. We need that. We need all these corner fences. We're gonna need this, and then this is kind of a gate. But other than that, I think that's about all we need, I want to say. If there's anything else though, I'll just come back and get it. You'll see it in the time lapse, because I'm gonna hit one more time lapse as we create the pathing and all that cool stuff. So I will be right back in like 5 seconds. Okay, so boom, that is it for our foreground. So I'm gonna save the game. We're gonna go to click on the little world node up here. We're gonna click this chain icon, click the player, and that will instance the player into our scene. And then we can F6, which is gonna play the game. We can see our player running around our map, and he looks amazing. So obviously nothing in the game works right now. The shop obviously doesn't work. We're running on top of the shop, which is not good, but all of that will be fixed pretty soon, right? So next episode, we're gonna be adding crops. So this field right here, we're gonna be able to grow stuff here, which is gonna be legit. It's probably gonna be like one of the longest and hardest episodes ever to create, and it's gonna be super complex, but it's the main part of farming. So if you came here for farming, make sure you check out episode 2. That is what you are here to see. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did enjoy, then please go down there and hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video. I hope you learned something important, and until next time when we add working plans to the game, stay safe and have a wonderful rest of your day.